Great, okay, we can start. So I thought that we'd start standing. So just making your way to standing and maybe just give yourself a moment. You could just let your arms hang down, maybe close your eyes, have a slurp of tea, just take a moment and feeling into where we are in time and space. So summer fading, and autumn arriving. And maybe just feeling into or thinking about what this next season might be about for you. Maybe you have a sense of what you've got planned, or what you're hoping to do, or maybe sometimes we don't know and we feel lost. But either way, just tuning into how the coming season feels. And then perhaps just letting the wrists float up and allowing your arms to move and your body to move randomly through space. So without any particular instruction from me, you might start in a kind of a Tai Chi, Qigong kind of way, just slowly, tentatively moving. But feel free to be random, as if exploring. Maybe letting your body move and make shapes that it's not done before or that feels unfamiliar. You could do things with your hands and fingers, so not just fists, but move your fingers in strange ways as well. And maybe add your legs, so you could lift a foot, so finding some unfamiliar territory. Being aware of the space around you and moving into that space. But then also perhaps bringing hands to your body and feeling your body. so that as you explore, you're also connecting in. Maybe noticing how when we do new things, when we explore or move into new places, unfamiliar territory, we find ourselves Do you remember that thing we did a while ago where you sort of mimicked those, you know, those great big blow-up characters, those ginormous blow-up balloon characters that sometimes advertise a petrol station, where the air comes out of them and they flop down and then the air fills up and they fling up again. You could do a bit of that. Maybe bouncing a little bit, swinging up and down. Maybe letting the body swing and twist, even though you might have done it before. It's quite nice to twist and swing the body out. And then if you come to the back of your space and just have your feet comfortably apart, and maybe placing one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and just coming back, centering yourself. And then releasing your hands, and as you move through more familiar movements, see if you can really use it to ground yourself, to land in your body. So let the arms come out and up, and breathing in, centering yourself as the hands come down the center line, rolling forwards and into down dog. And then if you come up onto your tiptoes and curl forwards into plank, and again using plank, quite a strong grounding posture, using plank to really land in your body. And then see if you can start to move again, more randomly. So circling, perhaps shifting forwards and back in a circular way. Maybe circle the pelvis. Maybe soften the knees. You could land the knees, come to all fours and begin to move on all fours in less kind of standard ways. So feel free to move your hands, move your feet, lift body parts up, bring them closer to the ground. You could sit down, maybe look at different body parts. So moving the body randomly, but now closer to the ground. And then perhaps coming back into down dog. And coming back to stillness. Landing again. And walking the hands back to the feet, coming into a forward bend. And then rolling your way up. And as you come up, if you lift your arms out and up, and again center yourself by bringing the palms together down the center line, just to the heart. And then if you take the feet wide, let's do warrior to the left. So turn the left foot out, right foot in. If you bend your left knee, take your arms straight out, just coming straight into warrior and feeling how the right half of the body, the back half of the body, sort of represents where we've come from. So maybe just turn and look over the right shoulder, being aware of the right half of the body, making sure your right shoulder is directly over your hip. So you really get that sense of the right half of the body occupying where we've come from and the summer that's drawing to a close. And then looking over the left half of the body, over the front shoulder, being aware of the space in front, the autumn, the winter, the darker months ahead. But then see if you can just really land here in this in-between space. Maybe straightening the left leg, spin on the left heel. Let's forward bend before we do the other side. if you make your way up, spin on the right heel, so right foot out, left foot in, bend the right leg. So coming into warrior on the other side, just checking you're centered physically, literally, and then energetically. And if you straighten your right leg, spin on the right heel, come back into your forward bend, and maybe beginning to explore your forward bend a little bit. So maybe walking your hands back as far as you can between the feet behind you. Maybe walking them, I'm going to turn sideways just in case it helps, but if you walk your hands forwards, creeping your hands as far forwards as you can, but without leaning into them. So keep the weights in the feet fully, so you really stretch your arms and your waist and your ribs. But then maybe starting to lean into the hands so that you kind of feel almost like you're in a down dog, but with your feet really wide. Maybe coming forwards into a plank pose, but again with the feet really wide. Maybe bending and straightening the legs, swiveling the hips. If it feels good, you could lower the pelvis, lift the chest, so you're in a wide-legged up dog. And then perhaps bringing the knees onto the ground, let's swivel round and sit with the legs stretched out. And again, moving from here randomly, so you might come forwards into a forward bend. You could point one foot, flex the other, swapping sides so your hips kind of swivel. You could bend the knees a little bit, and if you know that shaking we were doing a bit in the spring, so let your toes move forwards and up and forwards and up, so you're kind of shunting your body forwards and back. Maybe give the legs a shake. Maybe lifting one foot up, bringing the nose to the knee, hooking your arm underneath, giving your foot a little squeeze. Perhaps place the foot on the ground and lift the pelvis. So just let the body move randomly. And then let's maybe come into a boat pose. So if you balance on your bum, lift your feet, and then here in boat pose, moving your arms and legs, so you could circle your arms, you could shift your arms side to side, you could bend and straighten the legs, you could try and bring the soles of the feet together, grab hold of the feet, lift them up. And then let's maybe see if we can roll onto the sacrum so that you come lower down into boat. So let the upper body, the back, come closer to the ground, maybe scissoring the legs, the arms, and then maybe landing on your back. And perhaps coming into a bridge pose, lifting the pelvis. And perhaps gently in bridge pose, lifting the pelvis and then letting the hips kind of swivel. So one hip goes up, one hip goes down, up and down, and then bringing the hips level to each other and then swiveling them the other way. So my right hip is kind of sliding up towards the right shoulder, whilst the left hip slides closer to the left knee, and then the other way. Maybe circling the pelvis in bridge. And maybe landing the pelvis, hugging the knees in. Rolling a little bit side to side, perhaps lifting the feet up. Give the legs a hug. Maybe a bit of happy baby. So taking hold of the outside edges of the feet, bending the legs, rocking side to side. And then perhaps coming back into Shavasana or cobbler's pose if you like. Arms wide, just resting on the ground, on the earth. And before the day begins, just see if you can, even just 3 breaths, see if you can savour just being supported, lying on the ground. And then I thought we'd end with a mudra. So if you would like, you could maybe make your way up. Let me come a bit closer. So if you have both of your hands and bring the index fingers and the thumbs to touch, And then you turn your left palm, let me come up a bit, hold on. You turn your left palm to face your heart, and your right palm faces out, and the tip of the right index finger and thumb touches the tip of the left ring finger. So you might remember this, I often do this around the end of December, beginning of January, because it symbolises turning of the wheels, like the seasons are turning, but here we are in this, at the tip of the left ring finger, at the in-between liminal space. So feeling into this end of summer, beginning of autumn. And just releasing whenever you're ready.